Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Social Media. We're back, even though it's the international break. Obviously, less to talk about, but actually, there are a couple of topics that I do want to bring up regarding Mr. Lee Dixon. But outside of that, we've still got to review a few of the results that we saw from last weekend in the Premier League. So, as always, for those of you watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and share if you can. Obviously, it always helps with us getting in front of more people. And for those of you listening on Spotify, Apple, or any other podcasting platform, please follow and give us a 5-star review if you can. As always, as we must always say, the views that are expressed in this podcast are just for jokes, just for entertainment. The footballing ones are maybe a bit closer to what we actually believe, but we're just cracking jokes. So don't take it too seriously. It's not a reflection on any of us and our personal characters. All right. All right, well, we were going to start at the top with the juiciest result. I want to make sure that we've got the criminals that are on charge here so that they can answer for their crimes. So we are going to go to Chelsea first. We're going to obviously talk a few games, so Chelsea, Wolves, Arsenal, Sunderland, Spurs, Man United, and City, Liverpool. But we're going to start with Chelsea because we've got recent, and he's got a drop in probably 45 minutes or so. So we'll start with the arguably the most expected result of the four. So obviously Chelsea go ahead and they win 3-0. Pretty performances all round. I've been hearing a lot of different things. Obviously Garnacho, Enzo, João Pedro, etc. They've been talking a lot about those performances. Obviously Wolves, not the best, let's say, team to be playing against, but in general, getting a win's a win. So Reece, about it, what did you make of it? And are you does that give you more confidence moving into the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it was an expected result in terms of obviously it's Wolves, but I think they were quite resilient in the first half. We didn't manage to obviously get any sort of. We had that one clear-cut chance, so I think they defended well in the first half. Sort of, but once we kind of got the first goal with Gusto surprisingly scoring out of nowhere, it kind of the floodgates kind of opened from there, and it made our jobs a lot easier. But I'm seeing a lot of good individual performances. Clean sheet is always important. I think we limited Wolves, but we always were going to limit Wolves. They're not the type of attacking team we'd expect to get a goal against Chelsea. But more on the individual performances. I think Garnacho is proving to be worth that 40-odd million we spent, considering how much they paid for Mason Mount. It's looking even better. But yeah, he's doing well. For a signing I wasn't too sure on. I think he showed that he's got a lot more maturity in his game than I expected. And Gittins, you can kind of see that he's very much more of a raw talent. So I think it's going to take longer for him to adapt to the league. Whereas Garnacho, he does seem a bit more ready-made, which I was a bit surprised. Great run to set up Pedro Neto as well for his goal. So, which is, again, I didn't expect that. I didn't think he would be that type of winger that takes the defender on and creates those kind of chances, but he's looking like a threat. So yeah, it'd be good to see how he gets on. Enzo as well, I think he's slowly becoming better. I think the Caicedo, and it's a bit of a Reece James pivot in attack. So it kind of allows Enzo to move a bit more forward and be a bit more creative. So in all, a great performance, but I'm looking for that consistency now for us to kind of click on and challenge for those Champions League spots. If you know what I mean. We got Burnley.
I love how you always talk about your chances, man. Just talking about Champions League spots. Okay.
Well, this is the thing. We've got Burnley next, then we've got Barca, which I'll be front seat for because I want to see if Yamal is like Starboy for Starboy. We'll bring Esteval out and we'll have a chat. So we've got Barca and then we've got Arsenal. So we'll see if we can get some results there, and then I'll maybe have a different opinion on it. But it's important for us now to click on and get some positive results. So I want to see if we're worthy of that in the next 3-4 games.
Yeah, I definitely think that's fair. I mean, this happens quite frequently, really, with not necessarily just with Chelsea, but with in this kind of phase of their transition, I guess, right, where you put in good performances, like every now and then you're putting in really, really good performances, but then other games where you expect to win or, you know, whatever else, you don't quite live up to the hype of what you're expected. So it is weird to see with Chelsea, because you've had a bag of weird. We are talking about the Premier League here, but I mean, you've still got the carrier bag 2-2. You've got beaten Liverpool. You've got beaten away. Like, I know that they're terrible at home, but I mean, that's still a good result overall. And I think they're going to be one of the big teams that are going to be in and around that area. And then, you know, you win clangers every now and then, but then you come back and against Wolves, who you'd expect to beat, that seems to be always where like these kind of teams flip up, and actually you beat them convincingly as hell. So, I mean, I guess the question of like, how much are you reading into the game? Do you think that you just outplayed them and Wolves had no chance, or do you think it's more like, okay, Wolves just stink and they're just giving up 3 points like Oprah?
I think, like I said, Wolves did make it difficult for us in the first half, but in the end, they did stink in the second half once we scored. So it was kind of a combination.
Did they test your defence or your goalkeeper much? Because I know that they've been having attacking problems as well, isn't it?
Nah, they didn't really. It was more of a low block type game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be careful what I say. I'm careful what I say. So no, I don't think they had much going forward. Just more defensively, but they did crumble when the goal went in. But for me, I think because like on our day, I do think we can compete with anyone. But it's just how much can we, how many times can we be on our day? Like that's the difficult thing. Like, so it's just, we need that level of consistency. So let's take this Wolves result and let's like get through Burnley. But the real test is the next 2 games after that, Barca and Arsenal. Do you want to compete? Like, do you want to show these teams that we are consistent and we are ready for a challenge? Because it's all about maturity at the end of the day. And if we showed that level of maturity where we can not drop points, then yeah, I'd be a lot more happier and confident.
So I think we probably skirted around it enough. We don't have any Man United fans currently in the pod today, but I'm gonna put myself in their shoes. Imagine what it feels like to be a Man United fan. So I'm gonna immediately feel depressed. But then I ask you, Garnacho's slightly on fire. Is it time? You already kind of mentioned about Mason Mount and how it's looking like you got the better end of the dealings that you've done more recently. But is it time for Chelsea to really put a bit of respect on Puskas award-winning Garnacho, or are you still on the fence about him? Am I going to see you after a bad game against Barcelona be slating him and saying he's crap again, or what are we going to be moving forward here now?
No, I think you have to sort of credit where it's due, isn't it? Like you can't, like he came in and he's done well. Obviously, there's certain parts of his game that can be better, but right now on the left, he looks like his skills are more honed than what Jamie Gittins have been. So, with the whole team, like they're obviously young, so I'm not expecting him to have like 7 out of 10 performances every game. But it's looking well. Yeah, he's looking a bit consistent, and he's got a bit about to his game. Obviously, more than I expected, more than I thought. So you can't really slate him for that. And I'm not just going to hate him for the sake of it, even though I didn't want him at first. I won't lie. But yeah,
it feels like you're kind of going through like a transition in that this one that Arsenal fans had with Kai Havertz, but just way quicker. Like I think ours happened, and in some cases, I can see Io coming off. Some cases people haven't ever transitioned; they still hate him.
I feel like it's more a Noni situation.
2 years, you're doing it over the course of 3 months. You're putting some respect on his name finally. But Lana, what do you want to say about my Kai Havertz now? Come on.
No, I feel like it's more akin to a Noni situation. How they felt with Garnacho.
I don't know, man.
I think the hatred, because I think
even getting level.
The outrage for Noni was crazy.
No, it was crazy, but it was kind of.
I'm so glad you guys are here to keep this man honest.
Yeah, no, I'm. Oh my days, man. It was literally.
They weren't painting in the
I'm just
mirrors
happy that he's
against
wearing an
Garnacho.
Arsenal shirt once instead of a bloody Spain shirt.
Mate, you just got to switch it up,
Rep
mate.
your team.
Keep the people guessing. But back to my point, after you guys just winningly interrupted me. God's sake. No, I think the hatred like we felt for Noni was what Reece felt for Garnacho when he first got there. And then obviously with performances, you've seen that okay, maybe there's a little something. Like, obviously the Noni less so because he got injured, but obviously when he was playing, he was doing a bit more. He was making Arsenal fans feel something. Pause. But like it was better. And so I think for Garnacho, it's kind of similar. With the Havertz thing, that's just dead. That's dead in the water. Havertz took a lot longer, and I don't know whether that's ever going to come back to where it needs to be.
Dead in the water.
But like, I feel like Noni and Garnacho is a bit similar, in my opinion. I think they're pretty similar.
You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace. But I just thought of this off the top of my head, yeah, and this might be a mad shout. But if we look at Garnacho to Chelsea, Noni to Arsenal, and Mount to Man United. Do you guys feel like you could rank which of those is the best, middle, and worst signing between them, including the fees in it? You can include the fees if you want, but in general, like which of those do you think is going to be the best, worst, and kind of middle of the road signing?
Obviously, you have to time in how their impact will be over time, though. That's the difficult thing. Like, I think, yeah. What did you lot pay for Noni? What was it? Like
52 mil.
45 or something. Yeah.
So we paid for Garnacho. I think definitely the worst deal is Mount. Come on, 50 mil. Yeah, we can definitely rank that out there. But I think Noni and Garnacho, maybe we should have this conversation towards the end of the season to see who's impacted better. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The problem is that we're going to play different roles because I feel like Garnacho is a starter for you now, right? Like he's got to be a nailed-on start for your team, surely.
I think right now on the left, yeah. But I think Noni might have a different sort of impact with the overload that Bukayo Saka might end up getting. So it could benefit you much more in your push for the title. Yeah.
I think they're all, but however, I think the worst deal out of the lot is one you didn't mention, and that's Florian Wirtz out of all four. So let's just make sure.
Okay, we're going to start on that
situation.
now.
No, I just thought it was really appropriate to mention the signings there. Kind of similar type of Wirtz is trying to play on the left sometimes and the right. You know what I mean? So I think positional wise, I think you got to put Wirtz in that caliber. But I'm just saying.
No, that's fair. Maybe we should just be comparing Mount and Wirtz. Those might be the two deals that you need to be comparing.
I think that Noni Garnacho level now. I think they're moving to another caliber right now.
Oh my God.
I'm just being realistic. But that's just me.
Caliber in terms of how stinky the deal was, by the way, not caliber in terms of what we've seen on the pitch, because arguably Mason Mount has offered more to United than man like Flo has offered to Liverpool so far. Is that an egregious statement?
It's not. It is really not. It's factual.
No, it sounds funny to hear, even if it's true.
It felt funny to say. I can't lie. Like, I don't know if you clocked. I tripped over the words as I was saying them because I was like, I'm praising Mason Mount, but nah, yeah, like
that's all good, man.
Sounds mad when you say it.
Don't trip up towards this cakewalk title that you.
Can you? Yeah. Cool, man. Can you focus?
Keep the energy.
We're comparing players.
Read my caption.
We're talking transfers.
Keep that energy.
Keep
that energy. That's okay. Get your jokes off. That's fine. Flo Wirtz is shite right now. Just make sure you come back with a prem. That's all I'm saying. Come back with a prem.
By the way, you're not allowed to call him Flo Wirtz.
Like Denzel, yeah. You better leave with something, yeah. And I'm talking the big trophies. That's okay. You've got world champ.
He's too shit.
I've got this right there. Come back with something, Earl of the
Emirates. Anyway, to quote one of my now, my formerly favorite and now very disgraced rappers, man's talking about. Can you see what it says there? You know, niggas can't read. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be here with all of this. We're talking about this. Liverpool fans this season have been ridiculous. Yeah, we're talking about a referee decision. You want to talk about? You better win the league. We're talking about whether it was a corner or not. You better win the league. We're talking about has the signing had an impact yet? You better win. Yes, brother, we heard you. Shush. Focus on the discussion at hand. Is Mason Mount proving more value for money to his club than your landmark signing? Yes is my answer. Do you have a response on that topic, Khem?
How long has Mount been at Man United?
That's a more sensible response than talking about winning the
There we
league.
go. Okay, we're keeping it on topic. All right, fellas.
Talking of topics, I just want to say I love how Ayo deflected away from Noni as soon as he could. By the way, because obviously we know how he was.
He brought Noni up first, like I feel. But anyway,
jump straight.
I can feel all of you just itching to get onto the main call. We've had our starters. No offense, Reese. You know, Chelsea's just little hors d'oeuvre and that. I think it's time for us to move on. It's time to move on to the Mignon and that, which is the title headline fight of this occasion, which is the Man City against Liverpool result at the Etihad. Let's be honest, you got spanked, right? 3-0 Man City. It was a spank. It was closer in, let's say, the first half. Obviously, there was some controversial decisions, which we're also going to get into. You know, I think the penalty decision, first of all, that Alan missed. But we can also obviously talk about the disallowed goal. And then we've got to talk about some individual performances. We've got to talk about, Jeremy Doku. We've got to talk about Alan. We've got to talk about a few different players. And we've got to talk about some stinky performances as well, which I'll leave to the end. And there might be a number of those ones. Overall, it was a very convincing win, I think, in the end. I think everyone can say, like, if they look at the scoreline, it was not flattering or deceiving one way or the other. Generally speaking, that was probably a 3-0 game. And I'm going to start with Khem, obviously. We can never really trust the connection is going to be here, whether you're going to be on a train, if there's going to be cows in front of that train. You never really know whether you're going to be able to be here or not. So I'm going to take this time wisely and start with you. What did you make of the game? Overall, did you feel like it was, a fair result in terms of you deserve to lose 3-0? What do you want to say about performances? What do you want to say about dodgy decisions, etc., etc.? Go on, mate. You've got your time to give your speech.
Howdy. Long time no see, Lerpak. Good to see you, brother. So yeah, they deserve to lose the game regardless. Like, I'll be honest, I think the Lord blessed me where I had to cover a couple of hours, so I had to catch up on the first half. So I was actually very confused with the whole Van Dijk thing, because I was catching up to it. So when I saw replays, I was like, wait, what was the reason? But the overall performance wasn't good from our team. They dominated everywhere, all areas of the pitch, really. So, like, there's no complaints over the result.
Were you happy with the lineup? Because I know Liverpool fans have been.
Yeah, I had no problem with the lineup.
Were you happy with that?
Because it was the same team that had played a few days before, and more or less, I think the same team that had played the week before. So, when you're a team that's struggling, you want to have like some sort of consistency to form some sort of patterns of play together, right? Especially when one of the big problems is new players making combinations and getting used to how each another goes about their game. So I have no issue with the team selection, and I wouldn't have a problem with it if he played it again. They'll always look at the numbers for, like, possession or shots or all these things. But the one thing that stood out for this Liverpool team for the last maybe month, probably the whole season, but certainly in this period where their results aren't doing very well, is they're being outrun like crazy, and that's not something you associate with this team or the players that they have. Basically, that's one thing that's definitely, like, the alarm bells are ringing. Like, you can blame the manager for X, Y, Z, but if these lot aren't even gonna fucking run, bro, then boy, what can we do? Like, we might as well just switch off the TV. Now, I will be at the next game, because you lot try to call me fair weather, but apart from Razor, I'm there, right? So I don't just sing when we win. I'm there to hold the L as well, right? So I will be at the Forest game. But the whole team was crap. And obviously Bradley, I think there's the big talking point is obviously Doku's performance. But Doku's going to look good when Salah's not running back. So it's the team was set up to have Salah as the out ball, and that works when Salah's scoring all the time. but it doesn't look very good when Salah's not contributing anything going forward. So last year when we actually beat City at the Etihad, Salah was actually helping Trent because Trent was getting murdered by Doku as well, but it was a different result because someone was actually there to try and make some tackles. So it's all over the place defensively. They're not even running. People like Konate ain't even jumping anymore to try and win headers. Like, it was a good header from Haaland, but it was an awkward angle. Like, the centre back should be dealing with that. Michael Oliver hates us, so that's just a given. Like, he hates your club as well, so there's no point even getting onto him. If the league actually want to do something about it, then they can, or we just need him to maybe get a nonce charge as well, like Coot, and then we can be free from it, mate.
Allegedly, for all of this statement, allegedly, or this is just jokes, for fuck's sake.
But yeah,
Continue.
so yeah, Michael Oliver. Anyway, but so yeah. Long story short, we suck. It's not looking good, big man. Top 4 fight is probably going to be the aim for this team for sure. They are not capable of winning a series of games, let alone even thinking about the title. I am not in any way concerned about like thinking the manager should be changed or anything like that. You know, I don't agree with that. You have to stick it out with your manager. You know, we all loved him last season. You can't just switch and just hate on the guy the next season. Like, you got to give him a chance to make his changes, filter out the bad, bring in new ideas. You know, the game always evolves, doesn't it? What works last season doesn't work this year, and the best managers are able to do that, aren't they? So it's a chance for him to showcase what he can do. And obviously, a lot of the new players that came in are all under the age of 24. So, you know, they're bought for a long time. So I'm going to judge him over the next couple of years. I'm not going to just judge him these first couple of months. So it's not good. You know, we're not great right now. We just have to carry on each game, win, lose, draw, fuck it, whatever. We keep going.
Well, I think that's a fair. Yeah, go on, Io. You want to respond?
Sorry,
to that?
I'm so sorry. How can a man concede the Prem in November? He said we are not challenging for the title after spending 500
but
million.
I've not seen us play
crazy.
apart from the Madrid game, which isn't even a bloody league fixture, mate. We've not actually played a good 90 minutes. Okay, maybe Aston Villa. Maybe Aston Villa. But if really and truly, if Aston Villa wanted to get at us, they maybe if they went direct, they hit the post in the first 5 minutes.
Mm-mm.
So that's a completely different match. Like, every match we won, we've not played well, bro. Like, even when we beat Newcastle, we went a whole half without having a shot against 10 men. We're not a good team to win the league. So
any other team that spends 500 mil after winning the Prem in the summer and reinforces and spends that much money, and by November, after talking about the quadruple in the summer,
I didn't mention the quadruple. That's
mate,
no
I don't care.
problem.
Maybe not you, but it was mentioned by.
Can you name a team that's won the quadruple for me? I'd love
it does,
you to
mate. Treble, quadruple, it don't matter.
How many trebles have you seen? Certainly not you guys.
Listen.
All right, so fellas,
keep throwing
we've
these.
got 3 Arsenal fans. So I'm
trash.
going to put a disclaimer out here.
Right?
I'm going to put a
You
disclaimer
want me
out
to
here
say
that
it?
today.
You want me to say it? Our form is trash. I was still there to see us beat you guys. So now, what does that say about you? Okay, all right. We stink, and we still kept the clean sheet against you. All right. So I'm gonna still have that one.
All right, don't make me change what I'm about to say. All right, don't fucking. All right.
Do what
So
you
I was
want.
about
I don't
to
give
say
a
that because of the purely that you're outnumbered today, Khem, I was going to try and be a bit more balanced, and I am going to still try to be a bit more balanced. And we are going to talk about the title race, right? So Io, you've just called him out. You've said, okay, he's conceded the title race in November. Khem, it sounds from what you're telling us, it's only the form that is telling you that you're out of this race. But if you look at the table, you're never out, right? We've seen bigger leagues be dropped, etc., etc. So are you just saying purely because of the form that you've seen so far, you think that there's no way you can turn it around for the rest of the season?
He's gonna need a magic wand from this from after this international. Ray's looking at me funny. That's not a pause. But like, he's gonna need fuck you. Listen. Let me start this again. Unless by some miracle we come back and Isak, aka Joel Embiid, decides to start playing and showing up for work, and he's able to conjure up something where it works, and the team are able to win some games in a row convincingly and dominate the game, I have nothing to see to suggest that we're capable of sustaining a title challenge, because it is about consistency at the front and at the back. We've let in so many goals, man. I think we let in like nearly 20 goals already. Like when your competition don't concede and they reel off results, and even when you're struggling and you have injuries and you're still finding ways to win, those are the teams that actually get it done. So I'll have to give you guys the credit. So unless it would require a drop off more from you guys, or I don't know how far behind City are, maybe 4 points, but like it requires more of a drop off, I think, from the best two teams before, right now.
To be fair, we've seen drop-offs before. We've also seen teams come back and look really good in the second half of the season. Look at PSG last year, right? They were crap in the first half, really, really, really good in the second half. So we've seen crazy things happen. I guess I want to pin you down here. From a team sheet perspective, when you look at all of the Paul, shut up. Right. All right, put your eyebrows back. So when you look at the team sheet and you just look at the players on paper and you ignore the form, do you still have enough to win the league? Yes or no?
There is, on paper, there is obviously that there. But I've seen the first iteration of the Galacticos do nothing, and they had the best looking squad ever on paper. It's not played on paper, okay? It's on the field, and we're not looking good at all. I don't see any way you can change this around while you're having to play every 3 games, if I'm honest. Like, a lot of this stuff needs to be done on a training pitch. So it's just going to have to be a case of just firming it. And then I think they'll turn it around in the second half of the season. But we've seen over the last decade now, like, you can't be losing too many games, unfortunately, to survive and win the Prem. In Fergie's time, when there was a lack of competition and the Premier League standards were low, I hope Anthony can watch that back and enjoy that bit, because it's true. When you can lose like 7 games and still win the Prem by 10 points because everyone stunk. Nowadays, because of Pep Guardiola, a draw feels like a defeat. You can only really lose maybe 3-4 games max in the year. And I think we've already done that in a row. And so there's obviously more L's to come. And we're not actually very good away from home as a whole this season as well. So there's nothing there to suggest that we're capable of being consistent to actually even be in a top 2 race, top 3 race. We're battling for the top 4 right now. It is what it is.
Okay, we've got we've heard the pity party now. I'm gonna now push it over to the others. I can see Razor is absolutely bursting to call you out. So I'm gonna do you, Razor, first. Do you think Liverpool now are officially out of this title race?
Absolutely not. And I don't blame Khem, because he was actually in the middle of making this dramatic Undertaker-esque entrance last pod when I was saying this. But this is okay, so one, statistically, mathematically, we have seen stranger things happen. We have seen bigger drop-offs. We have seen bigger fight-backs and comebacks. So for me, I don't really put a lot of vested faith in this. Do you know what I mean? I'm cynical. And it feels like, as I've told our good friend Khem on this podcast before, it feels like an attempt to duck the smoke. Because last season, when people were making comments about, are Liverpool that good? Are they winning because everybody else is just like flopping? It was like, nah, you got to put respect on our name. When it was like, Liverpool are buying all of these players. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to win. It was like, like you saw what we did last season. Started off the year, they were beating teams. Like, they weren't playing well, they were beating teams. That's what champions do. Now the narrative has switched. And for me, I can only see the reason of the narrative switching because it's easier, or maybe it feels like less pressure, it's less banter and whatever to deal with if you're chasing and you're not the favorites. But you're the favorites. We established this before the season started. You like I said earlier, you don't win the league in the fashion you did. Spend over 400 mil, flipping cause a bust up over one of the most informed strikers in the division. Yeah, you don't do these things and then go in November like, I guess it's not our year. No, stay there. It's not over till the fat lady sings. She's not singing. Play ball. What's going on here, man? All of this. We're so winded. Our ball genius. Shut up, man. Play. You don't have to play football. You have to play football, and the league's not over. You can say we don't know how it's gonna go. We can see how it says, yeah. And you can say, but like giving up on the league in November, absolutely disgusting. And then the funny thing is, for us, man, the narrative is, oh, you went to the last day of the season with Pep's alien City squad, your bottlers. What's more bottling? Let's be real. Like, what's more bottling? Like, giving up on something that you should have every right to be into to the last day of the season in November. That sounds like bottling to me. Like, Liverpool are trying to avoid the weight of the expectations that they should have in it. I don't know if it's happening so much in terms of a club level, player level, but the fans have been disgusting, pathetic, shameful.
Bottling is being in the lead for 200
There's like a
days.
concerted effort. There's a concerted effort within the fan base, I think, to play down like their chances this year, because I think they're trying to take pressure off the team, which makes sense, right? I think that is what happens, and I think Arsenal fans and other fans would be the same. Arsenal fans, the issue that we've had is just because we haven't won something for a while, so that the pressure is still going to continue.
We wouldn't be the same though. We've got Lana. We've got so many Lanas in the fan base that are like, this is unacceptable. We have no excuses. We should have been better. Why are we not doing this?
My point is, I think Lana would calm down if we had won it last year or the year before. Right? I think he would be a little bit less, let's say,
if we capitulated in this fashion.
Realistic Arsenal fan people. It's not just a slogan. I live it. I live it, mate. You know what I mean? It's not just. I don't just say it. Realistic, mate. You know what I mean?
Well,
Ray, would you be saying this if you were top?
If you're a realistic guy, so let's be realistic about Liverpool. Do you think they're out of the title?
Not a chance in hell. There's no way. I don't understand. Like, they're not good right now, but there's just it's just ridiculous to say they were 5 points ahead of us in September, and everyone was like, oh my god, how far behind are we? And now we've just switched it around. Like, yes, we might be favourites, but there's no way Liverpool can be outside the title race. If they are, then you have to ask serious questions about the manager, because no other manager should be managing. There's no reason for that team not to be in the title race, regardless of any situation. Like, this is not talking about a small club or Newcastle having like a rich reign of form. Talking about, as you had 20th league, like, it's a Liverpool Football Club. They've just won the league last year. They spent money. It's November. Like, it's still free. There's still 3 teams in the title race. It's still us, City, Liverpool. It's just that they don't look good right now, and I think it's just coping mechanism by these fans, because they're just so butthurt how bad it's gone so far. So they're trying to rule themselves out, and then eventually, if they do come back to it, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, look how far behind we were. We're so good."
It's coming back.
They're just trying to build a narrative here. It's pathetic, and that's what it is.
You covered the NFL. You should know what this is. Yeah, it's championship hangover. All right, that's what we've got. Okay, and we just have to sober up in February, and then we get top 4 and we come back. That's it, mate.
Championship hangover, man.
Championship hangover. That's
I've never agreed with Lana so much. In this I can't lie. The only thing I would say is there's 4 teams. There's 4 teams in the title race. You lot are just borrowing Reese's boys' gimmick. Oh no, it's gone. It's gone. We can't get it. We're just happy to be here.
You guys are saying this because you're worried.
Chelsea can't be in the title race.
Did you think that City was in the title race last year, guys, when they lost like 7 of 10 games or whatever that wild run was, when Pep was scratching himself up?
But this is November. It is November.
Were you saying you were not saying it was still in the title race last year? You were not saying it was still in the title race.
Yeah, but you've got to be realistic that it happened at a different point of the year.
Exactly.
Right?
It's the same point of the year. They were stinking up in November as well.
Yeah, but theirs went on for longer.
Exactly. They'll get into Christmas where they'll struggle.
And also, they don't
probably will do the same.
The City team last year, let's be honest, Cam. The City team last year, they had just lost Rodri. Yes, they still had Haaland, but we all knew that their wing, all these other things hadn't worked out yet, right? So we can't say when we look at their team last year versus your team this year that they're an even team, right? You should have the firepower to go and at least stop the rot, but then also to try and push on. So I agree with you. Like,
I'm not trying to be realistic.
I'm trying to be balanced here. No, I'm trying to be balanced here. Against my better judgment, I'm being balanced here, right? But at the end of the day, I think there is some differences between the City team last year and your team this year, right? Surely.
No, I hear your point where the expectations are there, and there is, aside from Joel Isak, there's pretty much full health there. So yeah, and that's true. Like, we have had the tools there to get it done, but they're not getting it done. They might turn it around. I do expect us to get the form back and turn it around. but I don't see us recovering 8 points on you guys. 8 points is a lot. And there's probably a few more we'd lose in between now and the new year, if I'm honest. So that's just me being like realistic from what I see. I don't see any consistent performances or anything to show me like, okay, it's working well here. It's like, usually like you're scoring goals and you're just leaking those at the back. Or you're very good at the back, but you're just not scoring any. Or you're just creating those chances, but no one's putting it away. We're not doing any of that. Like when we do get chances, Salah doesn't want to pass it. The defenders are either throwing it back like Ice Spice or refusing to jump. One of our defenders is still on Duolingo, apparently. It's just there's nothing there. And the keeper gets injured every second he gets. He'll like wake up, stretch, cough, and he's out for like fucking 5 weeks, for crying out loud. So there's nothing there so far to show me that this team can recover a 5-point gap, let alone an 8-point gap, bro. We would need you to fall apart.
What about Conor
know what I
Bradley
mean?
versus Vinicius? Or was it?
It was
Jeremy
amazing.
Doku?
It was a great. It was
still in his pocket.
It was a
It was
wonderful performance. Like we can call it what it was. He played very, very well in that game. The team locked in and decided to run. But then the following match, they don't want to run no more.
And then Jeremy Doku took his soul again, bro. Took his soul. Took him to the cleaners.
He had a great game.
It wasn't a great cleaners.
At the risk of channeling my inner Jonty, and making potentially an unwise, attempt to be balanced, was it really that Bradley had a bad game, or was it that Doku was just like you? I think you can put most fullbacks in the league for Bradley and they're still getting cooked by Doku, especially with the lack of help that he was getting. I'm not gonna lie. I think I love a bit of like, wind up the Liverpool fan, get onto the Scousers, innit? But I think Doku was unreal in that game, innit?
There's worse performances than Bradley. There's worse performances than Bradley and on that team.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair. But I want to bring in Reece here because obviously a lot of Chelsea have said they've got the best fullbacks in the league, and we've had some conversations about Reece James and Jurriën Timber. So I want to bring you in here as you reigning world champion. Do you think Reece James would get rinsed like Conor Bradley did if you came up against Liverpool? And I mean, you can even go back to the game that you put very recently. Did you see him getting? Do you see these teams rinsing people like Reece James in the way that Conor Bradley rinsed?
The thing is, a fullback is probably only as good as the help he gets when defending. So it is difficult if you put Bradley up against a half decent winger, if he's not getting any help, because he struggled in the Chelsea game as well. I think Neto was out there on the left, and I think he got a lot of joy against Bradley. So I do think it is a struggle for him to sort of cope by himself. I don't think but then how were they doing it when Trent was there? Because Trent wasn't amazing at the back. I know he used to get a lot of cover, but he wasn't. Like that's what people said. His defensive game was flawed.
The setup gave him help. That was it.
Yeah. So it's just like, how can you? What Slot needs to figure out is how can he set up to accommodate support for Bradley in these moments? Because if you come up against a poor winger, it's all good. But if you get one on his day that's going to go 1v1 with you, like he's going to struggle. You can see he's got that type of temperament. So yeah, it kind of depends. But obviously, just. I think it's a problem that Slot needs to kind of figure out how he's going to get that support.
He's struggling badly. I'm not going to hide from that. He's struggling.
Yeah, I think this is the topic that we need to talk about, right? And I know Anthony is somewhere on a plane begging for this topic to be discussed.
Can't believe he ducked it today, man.
Off the back of a 2-2 against Spurs. Let's be honest here, right? So ask you first, Ken. What does Slot have to do to get fired? Because you just mentioned you're still going to back him, you're going to give him time, but like, what are the minimum expectations, what you need to see out of him and out of this team for you to continue to back him?
I need to see the core principles of this team return, which is pressing high up the pitch and outrunning the opposition and winning your fucking duels. The bare minimum that you'd want to see in Sunday League, for crying out loud, is literally what I'm asking for now. It's getting to that point. If we can bring that back, there's talent there to go and win you the game, and talent there to be able to hold the opposition. So it's again, like I said at the beginning of the season, he's been backed. So it's up to him to figure this out. He's been given, obviously players have left as well, and what the long-term players we're used to has to change. But that's down to him to sort that out. They're all professionals for a reason. They get paid very well. It's their duty to get this done and sort it out. The one thing I'm struggling with right now, is because I hated Brendan Rodgers so much, and I wonder if he'd have won the league, would I have backed him? Because I'm backing Slot, but now I'm wondering, is that just because the guy? Is it like sentiment? Or is it like I don't know. There were things he'd done last year, like his in-game management was really good, and this year it's shocking. So that's where it's confusing for me. Like he used to be able to adapt to his opponent very well pre-game and certainly during the game. Like remember when he sold sold him eventually, but subbed him like straight away. Never saw that fall again. So things like that he used to do. Now he'll be waiting until like 60, 70 minutes to do anything. Like. It's quite clear Plan A doesn't work. So it's shocking to see sometimes the same players come back out in the second half of quite a few of these matches. So he's definitely lost right now. He keeps chopping and changing things throughout the game. It's definitely a manager who's under pressure and struggling right now. But I don't think firing's the right approach because you guys can see that for yourselves with with Mikel Arteta. Like you could have just gone through a conveyor belt of managers and then you have to keep changing your systems, or you just stick with a guy and see how it goes and give him some time. Or you could end up being like Man United, where you change managers all the time and you just a yo-yo, thinking Man United are back every 2 weeks, growing out your hair, making dumb assessments.
You might have screwed yourself by maybe be successful in the first year, right? Because I think this is almost, I'm not going to compare him too much to Ten Hag, even though I'm sure Anthony, again, is somewhere on a plane asking me. But if you think about it, like you come out, you win a trophy in the first season, in the case of Liverpool, you had not a great season the season before. The last season with Klopp was not excellent. He comes out, he basically just he absolutely walks the league. And he kind of puts him now in this category where you're expecting big things from him. And at the same time, let's be honest, right? He's not a super experienced manager. It's not like he's come off the back of winning the Champions League with Real Madrid or something. You're not getting Carlo Ancelotti to come in and manage your team, right? You're getting somebody that's come from the Dutch league that, let's be honest, hasn't proved it at the highest level. Now he's put into this expectation where, okay, we're expecting big things from you. We've backed you loads. We've given you loads of money. Let's see what you can actually do. And he actually might have screwed himself by doing so in that first season, because now he's getting compared to that first season when maybe as a manager he needs a bit more time to just figure stuff out, right? Like if you look at Mikel Arteta, it took him a long time because of how much in the mud we were when he first got us, right? It took him ages to get us to the point where we were actually good. And he still did. It takes a while to do so. Obviously, with Slot, you're starting from a higher level, but he's gone kind of straight to the front of the line, and now you lot are expecting him to be literally like bloody Shankly. You're expecting him to be Kenny Dalglish 2.0, where maybe he's not actually able to fill those boots right now. I bring in others, right? So, Reece, try your best to be as balanced as possible. If you're a Liverpool fan right now, are you calling for his head? Because you Chelsea man are a different animal when it comes to attacking people and being ruthless with managers. You've sacked managers in the past where they've won a league, and next season they're gone. So what would you be saying right now if you were Liverpool?
Yeah, it doesn't work with everyone. The thing is, I think you have to look at it two sides. Slot came in and he inherited Klopp's team, and it wasn't a team that, because when a manager comes in, the team's usually in the mud. Like Liverpool weren't in the mud. Like Slot picked them up where Klopp had left them. So, and he didn't add anything to it. So he's picked up a team that already knows how to play together. He didn't maybe necessarily change the style too much, maybe tweaked it here and there in terms of the pressing and how they set up. But it was kind of Klopp's team. And then, so he's done that season. He's won the league, and then he's added to it. So then you now have to bring in all these players to kind of adapt and take it from like, what was that January transfer window, 22, 23, I think, when Chelsea went absolutely crazy and spent like however much peas on Enzo, Madueke, Mudryk, and you saw what happened to us. Like we were falling off a cliff, and we fell even more off a cliff because we added all these players that need to adapt and learn how to play with each other. Whereas Slot came in, picked up a team that hadn't had anything added to it except Chiesa, won the league. So they already knew how to play with each other. He's done all Then he's brought in all these other players, and now they have to relearn. So I don't think you should be calling for his head. I think a bit of understanding to the circumstance needs to be kind of thrown into the mix here, because this is not the team from last year. It's a different team. There's a lot of players that haven't even played in the league. Isak had a disrupted pre-season because he threw his toys out the pram and he couldn't get a game in pre-season, so his fitness was way off. There's a lot of sort of aspects to this kind of.
But then, how long are you giving him, Reece? Like, is he allowed to come 12th this season? Is he allowed to come 8th this season, and you just keep going with him? Where is the line for time to sack him?
I don't think so. But one thing I will say is I just looked at their next run of fixtures, and they're very winnable for Liverpool. I was just looking at it. I think they got like Leeds, Sunderland, Forest, West Ham
away as well, yeah.
Brighton at home, Tottenham away, Wolves, Leeds again in Jan. So these are very winnable games for Slot, and maybe it might turn their fortunes around. I sort of get what Khem's saying in terms of writing them off in the title race, because for this to happen, Arsenal have to take a significant drop off in terms of what they're doing. I mean, I wouldn't count out City. They're not that far away. And City, you know how they do towards the end of the season. But I think I get it in terms of, are Arsenal that bad? Will they be that bad for a period of time through the season? I think that's what you have to ask yourself more than, can Liverpool make up the points? Because Liverpool can go and win their next few games, but will Arsenal drop off? Enough.
You're ducking around it like your name is Kemmel. When do you sack him? Like, how bad do they have to be? Like, are we talking?
When he loses the dressing room.
Like, what are we talking?
If he loses,
I think he deserves till the end of the season, and then you review.
Okay, and let's say they come sixth at the end of the season. You're sacking him.
Only if he loses the dressing room.
Where did Klopp finish that Europa League season? What's happened?
Yeah, Klopp's finished 8th and he's finished 5th a couple of times. He's had some bad years, but he never lost a dressing room. I think that's when you lose your manager.
Unless there's someone out there better. Unless there's someone out there better.
Yeah, but they say that all the time. And then when
we'll go bold again.
Getting rid of Carter, and then we'll go and get Luis Enrique, as if anybody, Liverpool, the biggest club in the world, apparently. You can go and get who you want.
Say it again.
But anyway, I'm going to bring Io, right? And then we'll bring in Razor. Like, quick one. How bad does he need to be to sack him? Do you sack him now? Do you sack him if he's 8th in January? Like, Io, when do you sack this guy? What is the line?
I just think if they keep on, if he just doesn't show he has any ideas, really. I feel like his tactics and just managerial nous is just kind of showing up that it's maybe not on the level that I think people expected. So I think, obviously, I don't think he's sacking this year unless they completely capitulate. But yeah, I think they're definitely going to the end of the season. But if they keep playing the way they're playing and they don't look like they're going to improve, I think it says a lot. Obviously, I think it shows you can't just buy a whole new team in the summer and then try to integrate them all at once. And maybe that is coming back to bite him in the arse. I don't know how much say he had in it, but yeah, I think give it to the end of the season. But just because I think, obviously, winning the Prem gives you a bit of leeway, and I don't think they're like Chelsea in that kind of regards. But I think got a bit of rope with that. But yeah, end of the season. But if they keep looking the same way they are right now, then 100% has to be done in the summer, because you can't to bottle it the way and with the expectations they had as well. It wouldn't be a good look, and I'd be disappointed as well if I was a Liverpool fan. For sure.
All right, so we've got Reece and Io both saying give him end of season, kind of regardless of what happens, right? Razor, are you going to be as forgiving as that, or with all these men calling for Arteta's head all the time, are you going to be a bit more spiteful?
No, I think like there's a petty part of me that wants to be, but also like I think we have to put respect on winning the Premier League in the sense that I think that should buy you some leeway, even in modern football, if it doesn't necessarily buy a manager as much leeway as you thought it might have, like winning a trophy, but like winning the Prem, it's not easy. Do you know what I mean? They're sure you can make comments about like it was Klopp's squad. He didn't have to do too much. He just brought in a new energy and like kind of like coached the potential of the players that were there to what we all knew that they were capable of. Do you know what I mean? It's not like Liverpool were consistently a side that didn't look like they could win the Prem under Klopp. Do you know what I mean? So I think, like you guys touched upon, he's a victim of his own initial success. But I kind of, not so much when he loses the dressing room, but I think when you've got something like this and you've brought in a lot of new players, it's clear that something is not clicking. Whether it's the system, whether it's the players playing in that system, and what I think is going to be the determining factor in how long he gets or how long he should get is how willing he is to hold his hands up and go, do you know what? I might have fucked it here. Let's start again. And at the moment, he seems to be willing to kind of go, okay, do you know what? We got this player in. I try to build the system around this player. It's not working. Back to plan A or onto plan C, or like, do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, as long as he's willing to keep doing that, I think he's going to get a lot of patience and from like the people who run the club. And I think he should. I think he deserves it. Like I said, I think winning the Prem in your first season should buy you at least a season's worth of goodwill.
When you say like if he's willing to start again, are you saying that there's a potential for one of their big name signings to have to go somewhere else? Because I mean, we're talking about
have to go somewhere else or to have to sit on the bench. Yeah, they're gonna have to go somewhere else or potentially have to sit on the bench. And I think again, he's shown positive signs in terms of that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like he's bench Salah, he's done the halftime stinker and then hooked. He's not afraid to do them things. And I think as long as he keeps showing a willingness to change, because at the point now they're transitioning it, so they're trying to figure it out. As long as he keeps trying something different, I think he'll continue to get more time. If he stops and sorry, Ant, when you watch this back, if he gets a bit hammering with it, yeah, and he's like, this is my thing will work. You're just not deep in my thing. Like if he gets like that, I think he's gonna get. I don't think he's gonna get like given the same kind of graces that Ruben's getting in Manchester. Like I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's gonna get shipped. We might even see him go before the end of this season. And I think it's not so much about the form, because I think, you know, Khem's a great example. I think a lot of people affiliated with Liverpool have kind of drunk off the winning and accepted they don't mind if this is a transitional season. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's fair. I'll be real. If we'd won the Prem last year, I would probably be less bothered about how things were going right now. Do you know what I'm saying? I just think his attitude is going to determine how long he gets. And as soon as, and we know what Liverpool are like, they boo their homegrown heroes. They're never happy with stuff. They complain about this, that, and the third, then the fourth, then the fifth. So as soon as he starts to look like he's out of ideas and he's given up, or he's getting a bit like stale and stagnant, then he'll lose. I think if he loses the stands, that's way more important than him losing the dressing room. Because right now, you know, Liverpool and their media machine, everyone's making excuses for him. They were making excuses for Flo. They're making excuses for Isaac. Like when they stop making excuses for him and he starts to be the excuse, when the media start talking about him the way Khem talks about Gakpo and Kirkez, then we got problems. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I have a similar-ish take, but I think obviously it's a complicated scenario in terms of that. Right? Number one, probably the biggest, unless you've got a really strong board or like leadership group, the biggest really factor is how you feel about a manager, because I think that then bleeds into the dressing room. And as Khem kind of said, as soon as you lose the dressing room, it's kind of all over for you, right? You can't replace all your players, and at the end of the day, your players in aggregate are worth far more than your manager. So at the end of the day, when you have to make a decision between the two, you're always going to choose to manager out and just keep the players that you've got, because it's too difficult to do otherwise. I genuinely do think though, the fans have already shown that are like they're willing to call for his head. Right? There's a small subgroup already that are like calling for his head or saying like he's not looking, he's going to win. And I do think that the issue that you've got is there's only so many different things you can try, right? He's only got a certain squad. I mean, outside of just like low blocking everyone every day, or trying some mad like 3-5-2 or whatever, like trying to go into like an Amarim type thing. There's only things he can try, and so I think he's tried quite a few of them already. But you've seen Ekatike and Isak start. You've seen get dropped. You've seen Wirtz get dropped. You've seen him start. You've seen various different kind of combinations of this team, and I don't think you've seen really any change. So from my point of view, I think he's kind of not running out of options, but at a certain point he will run out of new things to do outside of basically just playing the kids, which I think we've seen in the Carabao Cup doesn't actually work all that well all the time. I think the issue that he's got is He's only limited number of options left, and one of them has to work. Because one of the things I will say about Liverpool fans is they ain't going to be this depressed all season. Right, it's going to get to January, and if they're not feeling it, if they haven't seen at least a couple of good performances like a Real Madrid or whatever else, they're going to call for his head. And I mean, outside of what maybe the leadership group backing him in January and going and getting Behi or going and getting somebody else to try and fix some of his problems, which I think is totally within nature, I think that they could start calling for his head. So I think what is most important to him now is improving on the training ground. And I think kind of mentioned before, he needs to get these guys to figure out how to play together in one of the styles that he's either already tried or that he's got in his like back pocket to try again. And if he starts showing some sort of like, again, showing signs of a style that somewhat works, right? Like you kind of said before, the defense looks crap, the attack looks crap, the midfield looks crap. Like one thing needs to start looking good, and then he needs to consistently try and build that and improve on that and fix the ones that aren't looking so good. If he can't do that for the rest of the season, which I know is a big if, right? Because obviously, I don't know if we've ever seen a manager be that bad, like the whole of the season for a big team. Like, if he can't figure that out, I do think he will get sacked mid-season, because I'm already seeing people like, I think I already saw a short list of managers that Liverpool are interested in, and I saw De Zerbi's name on there, which is mad.
Oh,
but I've seen a short list of managers you guys are apparently looking at, or you know, maybe looking at to come in and replace him. So I do think that there's a chance he gets sacked mid-season, but I really think it all depends on what he can do in the training ground, because at the end of the day, he doesn't have that many people injured. Like, he just needs to figure out what he's going to do as a goalkeeper, of course, right?
I'll close on one thing, because you're spot on with all of that. One thing I'll say, yeah, earlier in the year, there was like a lot of talk and a lot of the leaks of him getting a contract extension. Those have gone a little bit quiet of late, so yeah, that's one to keep an eye on as well. If that gets signed, then that's a show of intent. But yeah, here's the very last thing I'll say before we move on to the Arsenal game. If he loses Carragher, I know it sounds like a joke, but brother, I actually think it's true. If you lose Carragher, that might be the end of him, man. Because Carragher backs your guys real hard. He's quite clearly. I know that you guys say that he's, you know, you don't really love him. He's back to the barbecues and the cookouts and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, he's got quite an influential voice, kind of like the Gary Neville of Liverpool, right? If you lose him and he starts saying, yeah, it's time for this guy to go, I actually do think that would have an effect on the fan base and then an effect on your kind of management and leadership to get rid of him. So I hear you. I'm
not saying anything, but Carragher has to be kept on board.
If Carragher starts moaning, if he starts moaning, then his uncle and cousins have been moaning, and he's probably saying, yeah, maybe you're right.
And that probably also senses like or shows that Sky are going to lose him, because I do think this whole media thing they do for Liverpool will help him. But if he loses Carragher, then he's probably lost Sky, which means that you're going to see a lot of infographics about how shit Liverpool are, as opposed to constant infographics about how fucking shit Arsenal are, right? So, but speaking of Arsenal, let's move on to the Sunderland Arsenal game. I'm going to go for this one first before the Spurs Man United game, just because we don't have Spurs Man United fans here. Obviously, 2-2 draw at Sunderland ground. Constantly, you hear them banging on the gates and this shit and that. Like when they're scoring against us, it really gets my tits, but it appears to work for them. We obviously go down, and I'm starting to worry because I'm thinking, you know, after that, they're just going to lock up and it's going to be hard for us to break them down. We managed to get a goal back. Pretty decent goal. Like, we were actually playing quite well in the second half. We really come out and look like we're quite attacking. We then get into the lead, and then that thing happens where fucking Robbie comes on, starts doing madness. Raya loses his head second and goes flying into something. And we end up 2-2, last minute equalizer, and you know, we come out of this probably looking at the weekend like, oh crap, this is not a great weekend for us. Obviously, Liverpool helped us to maybe take the edge off of it, but overall, a relatively disappointing performance. I try and balance in terms of being a bit more critical than I usually am. These are games that Arsenal should be winning, right? If we want to be the league winners, if we want to win the title, I know that Sunderland are good, but these are games that we have to be winning, right? And I think you've got to get a lot on your side. I'm not saying that it's the end of the road or anything, but these are the types of games that we've just got to try and luck out and win. And unfortunately, in this case, we couldn't. Still good that we get a point because it wasn't looking great after the first half. But overall, a relatively disappointing result. So I'm going to go to you, Razor, first. What did you think of the game in general? Do you think 2 is a fair result? How are you feeling about this overall result, given what happened with Liverpool and Man City afterwards?
I think 2-2 was a fair result. I think, you know, credit to Sunderland. I think when they got their result against Chelsea, I was here kind of sort of saying, like, you know, they played well, they turned up, and they deserved every point that they got. And I don't think the script can suddenly be flipped when it's us just because it's, you know, more disappointing to me personally. I think Sunderland played really well. I think they're a really good side. And they're drilled really well. But I agree with you in the sense, I agree with you in the sense that, like, we should be going out and winning those games. And I think it's disappointing, especially when you've seen, like, us go behind, grab the equalizer, go in front. At that point in time, we've got the so-called best defense in Europe. It should be shut doors. It should be like, you know, close the borders, stop the boats, whatever the reform guys are saying, like, no goals, you shall not pass. There's nothing there. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it was a little bit shaky. I'm not overly disappointed by the result within the context of the whole season. Like, you know, just before the international break, bit of fatigue in there, played midweek, all of that sort of stuff. I hear it, I see it. I just agree with the overall point that we should really be looking to win those games. But yeah, no, I definitely think it's a credit to Sunderland, and like, they've already put out there, they've already staked their claim. They're letting people know we're not a guaranteed 3 points. You're not just going to come here and grab points. So not as disappointed as I maybe could have been. Not as obviously happy as I could have been. But yeah, overall, I think the key thing is to just not go on those away trips and come back with nothing. Like, Denzel, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? Like, we need to leave here with something. And we did. Should have been 3, but
yeah, it's a tough place to go, and Sunderland are a very well drilled team. I think people are going to be, at the end of the season, depending on how Sunderland do, people are going to be putting big respect on Regis Labrie, whatever his name is, because I think he was relatively unknown of all the managers that got the promotion. Obviously, right, you look at Daniel Farker and so on. Like, he's probably the most unknown of the managers, and he's managing them to really, really well. And obviously, Dan Ballard, a lot's been said about him coming up from our academy and then doing this against us. And, you know, weird story. I spoke to a couple of Ajax fans a couple of weeks ago, and they were telling me that Robbie was absolute crap. And yet, I've seen now against Chelsea and against Arsenal get some pretty important involvements and goals that have led to some really big results for Sunderland. I think they would probably put a bit of respect on old Robbie's name. But bringing you in, Io, obviously the resident Arsenal hater, how do you find the game? Obviously, a lot's been said about our great defence, and we've let 2 goals in against a newly promoted side. How are you feeling about the game? Do you see it in the same way that Razor and I do, in terms of, like, disappointment, but still at least we get something, or are you a bit more?
No, again, realistic Arsenal fan. I think you got that wrong. Next time, read it correctly, please. Let's just make sure let's be accurate here. No, I'm the same. I thought Sunderland was going to be a hard game. I think Sunderland, they've been pretty good this year, so I don't think it was going to be a walk in the park like going to Burnley away. So I wasn't surprised that they were up for it. I think they've shown that when it's time to play a big team, like, they've got a great atmosphere, stadium light as well. The players that seem up for it. The managers clearly has got them playing well. Xhaka's like reignited the passion. He just knows he's changed their team completely. So yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be an easy game. Obviously, I thought we'd win because I think we are obviously a better team. But yeah, we'll take the 2-2. Wasn't surprised. I think the fact we came back was a good sign. I think with the fact we scored as well from open play as well, so it kind of silenced all the haters about set piece FC and all that for, like, temporarily. I think it also showed that we do miss Gyökeres. Like, you think you can see, like, the impact Gok has on the team even when he doesn't have goals. So I think there's a lot of things that we can take positives from. Obviously, I think the only problem is that we conceded late on when we had the win in our hands, basically, and then obviously with City winning, it's kind of like, oh, you've dropped the points. But I think if we left with a draw, I wouldn't have been mad. and then seeing how the game played out, obviously you're disappointed. But overall, I think 2-2 was a fair result. I think Sunderland played pretty well. We had chances as well. That Ballard block on Marino, like in the last minute, was just ridiculous. He was just up for it, and and credit to Trossard as well. That was an absolute peach. I don't think I've seen a long range go in a long time. I think from a zoom so that was good to see us actually do something like that. And then there's a lot of those positives, but conceding 2 is concerning considering how solid we were defensively. But I don't think it's maybe that's just a blip. Yeah, I think the two conceded is a bit more concerning than anything else. But
like when you talk about coming away with a point, like if it was a 0-0 or a 1-1, I would have been like, okay, they probably low blocked us, and that's just what's got to happen. But the fact that we conceded 2 goals, and I'll be honest with you, poor goals to concede. Right, the first one, I'm not going to say Declan Rice like it's 100% his fault, but he definitely loses his man.
Oh, completely.
And he's a centre back. You're letting the centre back get ahead of you. Like, come on, Dec. Like, we know that you've got an engine on you, and you're faster than this guy. Surely, like, how are you letting him get past you? And then the second goal, I don't even know what happened really there. Like, it looked like Gabriel and Raya didn't really chat to each other. Gabriel's going at it, and then Raya's. I don't even know what Raya's doing in that one as well.
I think he tried to catch it like a numpty. I think if he went to punch it, it would have been fine. If he went to punch it, it would have been fine. I think because he tried to like cradle it and catch it, he's just not got he hasn't got the reach on him, and he's just completely bowled it. And also credit to Gabriel trying to blag a fake head kick there to try and get the foul. I respect the dark arts. It wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work, but I respect the dark arts. You know, sometimes
have you noticed it never works with him. He's obviously I'm a big fan of Gabriel. He's a really good player, a very good defender, and obviously a very good goal scorer in a lot of cases as well. But he is a terrible diver because he's done it multiple times now. We saw it, earlier this season where he's just trying to drop onto the floor and try and get a pen or try and get a free kick. We've seen it now where he's just like trying to call for a head kick, and it never works. He needs to go to acting passes. I don't know what he needs to do, but he's not a good diver.
No.
So it's a disappointing one. But Khem, we're going to bring you in here. You're going to have to be careful because you're still calling for us to win everything and saying that we're the title favourites. So you can't speak too negatively about us because then that goes against your other point. So how are you feeling about that result? Were you happy to see it? Do you think that it was deserved? Does it change your opinion on the whole like Arsenal title favourites go and win it now, cakewalk, FC type of stuff that you've been saying?
I think you'll look back on the season and take that result more positively than you do now. Because, the result was great. Obviously, the media can fake that there's a title race now that City closed the gap a little bit as well. Like, we all know it's a cakewalk and a procession, but we can, have a reason to tune in. They got to sell. They got to sell subscriptions, haven't they? But
do you guys see why you can't be nice to this guy? Trying to be a balanced fan.
This is why you're my former best friend.
It's why you can't, because he just does this stuff. Stop giving him grace and be neutral with him.
That's my bro, and that's my best friend, and you're my former best friend. Stop hating. But I was really interrupted by the senior Arsenal hater. You missed some key players up front. Like, I'm seeing random guys in random places. Like you said, you missed Gyökeres. I think Martinelli was out as well. I think to go after a midweek game, like you said, you laugh at me when I talk about the timings of games, but Sunderland will have got up for this game big time. The fans will have looked forward to that late game on a Saturday night. Crazy atmosphere. It's probably their biggest game of the season, I'd say, for Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. And they played well. They're a damn good team. They're above us, for crying out loud. Like, they're balling out. Xhaka would have got up for it. He would have got the team up for it as a captain as well. So you missed some key players, and you still had that fight you should have won the game, really. Best keeper in the league, quote unquote. Raya let you down there at the end, but like, you actually should have come away with the 3 points by not even playing that well. Sunderland playing out of their minds, and you still could have actually snuck it, and it wasn't even relying on set plays. So I think that's a positive for you to see, like, you have that resilience, because that's something you guys would have complained about over the last few years, like showing that resilience or the never say die kind of attitude and having that fight. I think your role players stepped up, which is a good look, I think, because you're going to need them also to keep you afloat in games when you're rotating the team and when they're playing cup games and stuff like that. So I think that's actually more of a positive in terms of your your team like fighting back to actually win the game. And I did find it funny when John's referenced Rice not running back, because that's how I felt with McAllister all season. So what you saw with Rice not chasing a centre back is what I've sadly had to see from our number 10. So yeah, imagine that every game. It's not good, man. It's shit. But it will be a one-off from Rice. I'm sure
you've clearly forgotten that Arsenal's team 5 years ago had some very questionable centre midfielders. So I don't have to remember that hard, because those memories are etched in there, mate. So don't you worry about that.
You got to try and burn them from your psyche. But you guys, honestly, I think I'd say you didn't win because you were missing a couple of players. Like I think that was really it. And it's a point away. If it was at the Emirates, you might look at it differently, but you should have won the game. It was a mistake at the end that cost you the result, really. So yeah, it's, for me as a hater, it's actually a shame, because the one thing I could always rely on would be Arsenal to lack that resolve and that fight. That was kind of the thing that you never had. So the fact that you did show a bit of backbone, yeah, man, you guys are gonna love that parade when you go to it, man. And I'm gonna.
So you're back on the this is what champions do stuff, but now you're using it for Arsenal instead of Liverpool. Okay, I get you. All right, so I'm going to stick on you, though, because I have a feeling that Io and Razor's answer are going to be a little different from yours. Do you think we are still the title favourites? Because you've been saying it for the whole time. You've been saying cakewalk and all this other stuff. You've been saying that we've got to go in with a treble and this, that, and the other, right? Do you still feel like we're title favourites? Obviously, coming off the back of City absolutely spanking. They do look good, right? I know they don't always look good, but they do look good, and they've got one of the best managers of all time, if not the best manager of all time, and the best striker. I believe will end up going down as the best striker of all time in terms of a pure goal scoring ability. So do you still consider us title favourites? How close do you think it is between us and City? Are you still rightfully including yourself in that conversation or not?
I think you guys are the favourites because you've had that continuity from the last couple of years, and you've added the pieces that you needed, that you as fans wanted. You wanted a striker, you wanted a creative attacking player, and the board finally backed you, because things you guys wanted in January weren't done and you got them now. It's about keeping them fit, keeping them locked in, keeping that form. You don't concede. Like, have you even conceded in the Champions League, for crying out loud? Like, it was probably a shock for you guys to even check your notification and see that you're letting a goal. You're probably thinking, oh, they got it. You probably thought it was the wrong way around and the app glitched or something. I bet Ray was looking at thinking how much
you assume that we don't actually watch our own games because you don't watch yours. But I actually saw them all live, unfortunately. I didn't need any notifications. But you guys are the favourites because you've been the most consistent team in the league by far of all the teams. So you can't like ignore that. So on the balance of, like, as of today present, like, you have been the best team. That can obviously change. That can change with form. That can change, of course, with injuries. But yeah, City will be in there because they've obviously managed to regroup a little bit. He's got some fresh legs in there as well. He had an aging team that was obviously falling apart a little bit. We should be in the title race, but we forgot our shoes, or we didn't tie our laces, or whatever joke you want to run with it. You're wearing someone else's PE. We're wearing like 2 sizes too small, the shoes. We tripped on the first hurdle. It's not good. So more likely Bournemouth in the title race than our clown show at the moment. but you guys are definitely the best team for sure, which sucks. But after $1 billion net spend, at some point you should be the favourite. $1 billion what? $1 billion pesos? What are you talking about? But let me bring in Io now. I'm gonna bring in Io. I'm gonna say one thing, right? On that question of are we still the favourites? So I want you to answer that, but I want you to listen first to who we've got in our next 4 Premier League games. We have Arsenal at home. We have Tottenham at home. We've got Chelsea away. We've got Brentford at home, and then we've got Villa away. Those are our next 4 Premier League games, with Bayern Munich in the middle of them. So, Io, do you think, again, as the resident Arsenal hater, do you feel like we are still favourites for this league? I'm not going to stop saying it. I was going to say, I think your screen must be glitching, or it hasn't updated yet, because you just keep referring to me wrong as you introduce me. It's such a I think we obviously, I was having this conversation the other day with boys as well. I think we are obviously favourites because, as you said, consistency over the last few years have been so close to winning it, and realistically, this should be our time now.
But now you just mentioned those fixtures, I definitely think there's that feels like there can be some tough games in there. I think Tottenham, I feel like we should beat, even though it's gonna be a North London derby. Like obviously, I think we should definitely beat Tottenham, but Villa just gives me PTSD no matter what. I just don't like seeing Villa when we play them for some reason. It just doesn't make me feel good. Brentford have been out for it a lot as well. They've had some good results I think we should beat Brentford. Chelsea again, I think we should beat. But I think Villa game. I definitely think we're favourites in terms of as Ken again. I don't really want to agree with that guy. I call him that guy as well. In terms of consistency, we have been so close. We saw it in the last few years. We've been just there. We've made the right signings, and hopefully get a few of the boys back as well in the next couple of weeks. Martinelli and Gyökeres. Hopefully he's not out for too long. And I just think as long as we're still defensively sound, then I think everything else will just find its way back to normality. But I think Gyökeres actually is the biggest key, because that kind of helps Saka so much, and we've seen how different Saka is marked and defended against when Gyökeres is playing. But I think out of those 4 games, I'd expect us to win 3 of the 4. I think, unfortunately, for some reason, I just see us dropping points against Villa, and it annoys me. I just don't know why. I think Emery's just harbors hatred for us still, and I think his dressing room speeches must be so rousing, and they just get up for it when they play us. So I think Villa. I don't think we lose to Villa, but I think we drop points. I think we're favourites. But City again, I think it'll be down to us and City. And as I said in pre-season, I think I was the only one that did say that City would be back this year. And lo and behold, City are definitely still they're very much in the title race, and they're looking dangerous. But it is not ours to lose, but we are the favourites.
It's yours to lose, my former best friend.
Shut up. Just shut up. I'm tired.
And even we beat Villa, so just be honest and say 4.
Oh, no.
That was a long way of saying you're going to be 12 points better.
Well, that goes to show how much Unai Emery hates us, because he was just like, it's Liverpool. Everyone's beating them with long balls. Screw
exactly.
We play it quickly. We're not going to do no long throws, no set pieces. We're just going to make it really easy for them and let them win. Exactly. But Razor, let's bring you in on this one as well. So, I mean, again, Tottenham, Chelsea, Brentford, Villa. We are now 4 points ahead. Man City, from what I've seen, have a relatively easy run. Again, I will be honest, City and Liverpool both have a much easier run than we do over the next 4 or 5 games. I mean, how do you see this 4 going? Do you think we're going to continue to be 4 points ahead? Do you still have us as favourites?
I think we're still the favourites by virtue of playing well, having a really what looks like a really well-oiled machine, being able to kind of overcome injuries and obstacles and whatnot, and just picking up points in the fashion that we've done. I think at the end of the day, the Premier League is the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? It's 38 game weeks. You got to beat 19 other teams. You got to play 19 other teams. I think, again, like we always say, we're doing this on a weekly basis. It has to be by the nature of that a little bit reactionary. But I feel like we're the favourites. I feel like we were one of the favourites going in. I think, teams like City, you can look to players like Haaland and be like, he is out and out. Nobody can say anything different. There's no real debates about him being the best player in his position in the league. I think Liverpool, obviously coming off the back of winning the season before and spending that much money, there were expectations there, but we were definitely expected to be in the mix. Do you know what I mean? Us being the out and out favourites, it being our league to win. Like I said, I've shared my thoughts on people ducking the smoke already on this pod, so I won't repeat myself. But yeah, I think we're the favourites because of where we are and how we've been doing what we're doing. And in order to kind of win, you have to, to a certain extent, put your head down and just look at every game week as we got to pick up points. We were going to have to play Villa twice. We were going to have to play Brentford twice. Liverpool and City will have to as well. Do you know what I mean? So unlike certain, supporters of clubs we won't mention, I want the smoke. I want the difficult fixtures. I want a difficult run of games because I don't want no asterisks on our league title. Do you know what I mean? I want everyone to know, like, if we won because we were the best over all 38. And yeah, that's going to happen. We're going to have a difficult run of games, then they're going to have a different run of games. But definitely still feel like we're favourites. Definitely feel like we're still inside. And to be honest, like the idea that we're not going to be favourites based on fixture difficulty, I don't know, man. I don't think like, you know, it's going to swing and then swing this way. It'll definitely get closer. And like Ayo keeps talking about how he was the only one with the vision to see City being involved. I'm not sure if that's completely true. I think everyone sort of said that City were about this year. I think we all just expected more from Liverpool, to be honest, which is why the City element got downplayed. But like, they're a good side. They've got the best striker in the league. They've got arguably the best Premier League manager of all time. They've got a talented squad. Do you know what I mean? They've got some crazy players there. So we expect them to be a factor. We expect Liverpool to be a factor. But yeah, I still feel very confident as a Gooner.
Yeah. I just genuinely think it will be a lot closer than anybody ever says. Right? I think our season was not a one-off, but like you don't generally see like people just absolutely run away with it as much as, you know, the Liverpool City rivalry gets a bit overplayed in terms of how even it was. I mean, Liverpool did always try their best to push them pretty hard. I think Arsenal in the last couple of years have tried to push them and been relatively close. Last season was obviously completely different. I think Liverpool, I even think the end table was flattering due to the rest of us, because I think Liverpool were on holiday from like April, end of March onwards, right? Even before the title was fully over. And I think if they had played their like hardest the whole time, I think it would have been even further away. So I think it will be a lot closer. And I think people have to bear in mind that like fixture difficulty, yes, it doesn't, everyone's got to play the same games in terms of like the end, but you will have then swings of good and bad, and you won't necessarily be top of the table the whole time. And I think I'm still confident. I still think we've got, from what I've seen, a good enough squad, good enough kind of key or star players, which I think was, as much as people talk about squad depth, I think one of the biggest things that we've always had when being compared to City or Liverpool is, you know, Liverpool can say that they've got the best centre-back in the league. They can say that they've got the best, one of, not the best attacker in the world. We've never necessarily been able to say that. Still, even today, I think a lot of people try and put a lot of Arsenal players not in that conversation. I think Saka, we've always tried to get him into the conversation.
Well, you missed that segment.
We're not talking about this season, right? I know people are trying to bring Rice into the conversation this season. People are bringing Gabriel into it. But let's be honest. Last season, the season before it, the season before that, said Saka was the best right winger in the world. No one said Gabriel or Saliba were the best centre-backs in the world. Anthony was still calling Saliba a prospect, right? No one's saying this is the best centre mid in the world, etc., etc. So I do think there's always been that challenge for us. But I'm seeing a lot of our, let's say, group step up a bit more this season than they have done previously, right? So that gives me hope on top of the fact that we've got good squad depth, because at the end of the day, game winners are game winners, right? Your squad depth can win you games just on aggregate, like on average, you win more games than you lose if you have a good squad. But difficult times, it's people like Haaland, it's people like Salah, it's people like, you know, Van Dijk. These are the kinds of dons that will win you games because they are world class, right? As much as I hate all of them, they're all world-class players. And if we can have like Rice step up and do that, if we can have Saka step up and do that, if we can, you know, Gabriel step up and do that, Raya, etc., then I will be more confident moving forward. So I do think that we're still one of the favorites for the league. I think it's still way too early to really be confident in any statement on who is the favourite. Like I don't think it is gap between the top and the second big for us that any of us to say confidently that one person is the favourite over the other. And it's still, as we've said, it's still November. So we've got a long road to go. We've got the FA Cup that hasn't even started yet. Champions League hasn't really even kicked into anything yet. Internationals maybe, but let's be honest, like, not that serious. All these games will start to add up. December's a congested month as well. We're already seeing loads of injuries, not just us, loads of teams seeing loads of injuries. So a lot of things can change between now and January is I guess, the thing that I'm saying here. So confident, but I'm not going to be writing anyone off yet. There's still a lot more of this story to be written before we can start getting into a very confident position. But anyway, that's the end of my speech. Yeah, Bird, mate.
Just order the DVD, guys. Premier League years 25, 26, man. Just enjoy it, man. It's yours. I know you're carrying the PTSD that we keep harping on at you, but just enjoy it, man. The rest of you guys are the best team, and a lot of us stink or are still transitioning out of stink. Just have it, man. Just talk your shit on the way to glory.
Man
right?
is saying transitioning after winning the Prem. Listen to the rhetoric.
And spending 400 million. Winning the Prem, and spending 450 million. Now we're in transition.
It's actually 200 million net, but anyway.
Crazy.
Okay, that's what we're doing. Yeah, net. And you oversell players that are worth like
key players left. We lost some key guys, man.
Luis Diaz is the only one that you can chat about. The rest of them, of course, Jota was a key figure in the dressing room, but let's be honest, he didn't start the game. Luis Diaz is the one, and Trent is the one. Those are the two that you can chat about. The rest of it, I don't want to hear it.
When fit, Jota started for us. We wouldn't have signed Hugo.
Well, you're chatting to me as if Nunes wasn't in and out of that team just as much.
We stopped starting Nunes so that we didn't give Benfica 4 million, bro. He didn't start a game since fucking January, bro. We actually deliberately
How many
didn't
appearances did he get for you? So he only got 5 appearances for you, yeah?
Who, Nunes? He wasn't our starter.
No, he got plenty. He got plenty of appearances for you, brother. Let's not do this.
He got plenty from the bench.
Brother.
We all right? Is everyone okay?
Yeah, he's trying to pull me back into being not being balanced.
Exactly. I'm sick of this fake objective
he's getting me, football manager settings gone.
Lie into the pod and be yourself. Be your true self.
He's trying to rage. He's trying to
rage. We spent a good amount of time now. We're an hour and a half in. I do want to say one last thing, and I want to ask the team quickly about this one. It's about Eze, right? We've obviously just seen what he did for England. He played pretty well. We'll chat a little bit about the Foden stuff and that. But I've seen a lot of people, mainly rival fans, saying that Eze has been underwhelming so far this season. I've even seen some Arsenal fans saying it too. He has got GA, this, that, and the other, but I don't know if we're saying that like been outstanding. I know that Crystal Palace fans are even coming out and trying to say, a bit like the West Ham fans before, they're trying to say that, oh yeah, he's up and down as if he wasn't the best player that they've had in the fucking ages. But what are we making so far of Eze's performances for Arsenal? Like, are you disappointed with the signing? Because that's what I'm hearing a couple man say. I'll start with you, Io. Like, you are a big Eze fan. You want him to start every game. And have you been happy with his performances so far?
No, I hear it. I hear what people are saying. But again, I think when it comes to creative plays and Arsenal and this current system, you have to understand this is Arteta. Like, not even like, it might not be a negative. No, but don't take it as a negative. This is just what he does to creative flair players. And I think we have enough experience now and evidence now to see that if you have a lot of flair or you are tricky on the ball or more like you want to be that type of player, that's going to get stifled down because Arteta has a way of playing and has a system. So this is why you just can't critique certain players that play for Arsenal that have that. Like, they're not going to look the same coming from... Like, and you guys can shake your head, but I'm telling you, this is an Arteta system, and it's an Arteta. This is what Arteta does to create players. And it might, if it wins us the Prem, I can't be mad about it. But this is just what he does because it's not the same Eze from Palace. But obviously, the same Eze at Palace was facing a different type of the different types of teams, facing different types of defenders. Had a lot more space when he was playing for Palace, and he was able to be on the ball. But Eze for Arsenal, obviously, he's got more defensive responsibilities. He's not going to be trying to dribble past 3-4 man at once because one, he doesn't need to all the time because we've got better quality players around him, and two, that's just not the Arteta method. So I get why it is underwhelming. I think a lot of people, like for me as well, expectations are a lot higher, but I think this is just what he's been told. I think this is the role he's being given. I think he's just doing what Arteta tells him to do, and it's a shame because obviously he's got so much talent and so much flair, and I'd love to see it like at his full capabilities, but obviously if it doesn't go to what like winning football or what Arteta wants, then it's not going to work. And yeah, so you guys can shake your heads, you can say I'm being a hater, but that's the life of a realistic Arsenal fan, and this is the Arteta method. This is the Arteta playbook. Creative players just don't have that time to express themselves. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Before I bring in Razor, I'm just going to say I'm going to change my statement. You're not the resident Arsenal hater. You are the resident Arteta hater.
But
I
why is
don't
that
wanna hear
hate? Why is
you
that
express your hate.
hated?
It's self-hate.
You
It's
are.
unbelievable.
Why is that hate? Why is that a hate? I don't get why that's a hate.
Well,
at
let
all.
me let Razor tell you why you are an Arteta hater. Go on, Razor.
Okay,
What are you
please do.
feeling about the Eze
Definitely
performances so far, and why is Io a hater?
I wouldn't call Io a hater.
Thank you.
I
But
think
don't go
he's
back
like
on
an
it.
Arsenal. You see, like if Arsenal fans, you're basically like the Uncle Ruckus of Arsenal fans, isn't it? Like,
I don't understand how.
I feel like you want to like wear the jersey and cheer on the man them, but like afterwards you're like, oh yeah, I'm a gooner, no relation, you know, like just like Uncle Ruckus. Like, don't let them man think that I'm the same as them man. I'm not like them man, innit? Like I support Arsenal, but I'm not like them man. I'm not one of them man. And also shout out me for getting through that without saying any words that I wasn't supposed to. But no, honestly, because my man, I'm gonna be real. I'm a massive Eze fan. Yeah, massive fan. I'm so glad that we got him from Palace. So glad that we stole him from Tottenham. I'm so glad that all of that. Yeah, wonderful. Asking a question of whether he's been underwhelming is fair. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into all of the, but like we are comparing him to Odegaard and like in terms of positional side. I'm not saying player to player, but just like where he's playing in the team right now. And who people wanted him to come in and replace. We're comparing him to Odegaard. And Odegaard, we've talked a lot about what Odegaard doesn't do well. Well, Ayo has. So specifically, I'm not going to go into that right now, innit? But what Odegaard does do well, I think, is stuff that often gets underappreciated by football fans generally within the game. Not just from him, but from players like him. And it's like we're seeing the effects of not having someone in our midfield doing those things sometimes when Ez is in there. He seems really creative and he's more likely to play a pass and like attack the game in a way that Odegaard hasn't necessarily been doing for us when he was fit and he was in the side. But you see all of that running around, leading the press, yelling at people, doing all of that stuff, being like a up and down, killing himself for the game. I don't think that's necessarily Ez's game, innit? And like, I see him trying, but it's not his game, and we're seeing a little bit of a difference there. I think the whole like, you know, like Arteta is stifling his kit, whatever, bruv. Like I honestly, whatever Arteta did to you, yeah, whichever babes he like diverted from your path, whatever trauma he has caused you, bro.
Why he wears a Spanish shirt,
bro? Like, fam, here's the thing, yeah, because here's the thing. If we look at a bunch of signings, yeah, that have come from within the Prem to other teams, yeah, we could look at Cunha, or an Embuemo. We could look at we could look at Kirkes. When we're looking at players that have come from within the Prem, because I just said some nonsense. I was trying not to.
That is crazy that you've just led that said nonsense.
You did. No, wait, hold on. Allow me to run back what you said. You said, oh yeah, he's playing against different defenders. My brother in Christ, he's playing in the Premier League still. He's playing against different defenses. He's playing in the Premier League. He's gone from being Crystal Palace's main threat to being one of Arsenal's 4-5 threats creatively. So when you're saying that, for me, it feels like you're trying to shift the agenda to make it about Arteta. What's happening now is he's gone from being the biggest fish in a medium-sized pond, because let's not disrespect Selhurst Park, yeah, to being a more relative-sized fish in the pond that he's in. He's not the attention guy. He's not the focal guy. He's still required to create. And the lights are bright. And it's okay for him to take time to adjust. It's not because Arteta's killed off his creativity. I think that's a reductive and slightly, you know, biased perspective, innit? But let's be real, innit? Like, this is the same as we've seen him do wild, amazing things. He's definitely going to get there. It's just fitting his role into the system. I'll hear that. But to say that his creativity has been stifled, come on, man. Eventually, the players have to take some responsibility for their performance on the pitch.
Can I talk real quick before Khem and Jonty can get back in there? I completely agree. Again, I wholeheartedly agree with what you just said there. However, I think that's the point. Is that when you see him for Arsenal, and obviously big fish, small pond, or medium-sized pond, as you said, Selhurst Park. Now at Arsenal, again, that's what I meant by his creativity is going to get stifled because he's got more responsibilities now to play within the system. Like at Palace, it was just, you go out there, win us this game for us. We give you the ball, go do something, make magic for us, and go do that. Now at Arsenal, it's got to be, you get on that ball, one, trying to like make sure you don't lose it by doing something too risky, and two, if you lose it, you have to go get that ball back. So the same way, he's exerting more effort on defense, and now he's exerting nice, and now I think he's being a bit more. Obviously, he's still got those moments of brilliance, like that pass to Martinelli against City, unbelievable. Like the vision, the pass. So he's obviously those bits come out and they're there. But I'm thinking overall, you ain't going to see the same Eza, and I think that's because the Arteta system.
Completely hear you. But have you ever like looked? This might be an unrelatable example for some of you, so I apologize, Khem. But like, have you ever seen like a baddie and been like, I would love to, I want to get to know her. I want to get to know her. And then you have. And then you have, like, you've whatever your angle is, like maybe you did the DM slide or you approached her at the bar, or, you know, a friend of a friend. And now you're there on the date, sat across from her. You drop £40 on a round, you're looking. Sometimes you might get a bit, yeah. Like, even if you're a seasoned operator, sometimes the lights get bright. Like, Eze got the dream move. He's where he wants to be. He has got the baddie's attention. Now, again, apologies, Khem. Just like, I just want to keep it relatable, so I'll come back to football in a second. But like, now you got to maintain the baddie's attention, and that is a completely different ball game. Do you get what I'm saying? The standards are different now.
So I'm going to use an NBA analogy, right? And I know that obviously we're talking about football. If you think about it, right, like when you see star player for like a small town team go and have to play on, let's say, a super team, kind of got a backseat role and realize that I'm not going to get the ball all the time, right? I'm going to have to do something else. I'm going to have to work really hard. I'm going to have to do other things. That's like you're not going to get a KD going to Golden State Warriors and the whole team changes around him so that he can be the main man. Like, it doesn't always work like that, right? So it's a lot of times going to have to evolve. And I think obviously the harsh thing for him is that at Palace, he was the main man, and he was a really good main man, right? Because we've seen main men look crap before, right? Like, we've seen them like not turn out and then get moved and shifted elsewhere. I think that the harsh thing for him is that he's being rated to that, like, where he was literally the main man for them, did most of the work, got the ball most of the time, and now he's going into a system where I think I agree with both of you, right? Like, he's going to get as much of the ball, and let's be honest, flair players, it's about volume as much as it is about creativity, right? They're going to try loads of stuff. Look at Bruno as a great example. He's doing crossfield balls all the time, and about 10-20% of them work out, and that's why he's the big chance creator number one in most seasons, right? So I think that's one thing that he's going to have to get to realize. And the problem with flair players is, unless you're KDB, your like ratio of good ball to bad ball or successful like through ball to non-successful through ball is not going to be that high, and so it's luck of the draw. You're going to get 10 touches on the ball in the first half, and you might spunk 4 of them, right? And the alternative is what Arteta would be doing, what I think happened to Grealish when he went to City as well. Now that you look at him at Everton, is that he's going to get told you can't spunk in the way 5 times out of 10. So you've got to play a bit safer. You can only do those balls where you're really confident, where you think it's definitely going to work out. And let's be honest, you're going to get held accountable to the ones that you mess up. So I think that's the issue. And I even argue that the same thing has happened to Odegaard, right? When you see other teams before, I know that obviously he's a young player and he's injured a lot and stuff. He was more creative than he's looked in a lot of times in an Arsenal shirt. And I do think that is just part of the margins that we're looking at in football these days, right? I think Khem kind of mentioned it before about like early noughties, right? Like 20, 25, etc. The margins weren't as crazy as they are now, right? Players were going out smoking after the game. They were going out and having drinks. They were going out and doing all these. The margins now, though, are so thin. When you think about how much data is being processed and analysed for every single match, when you look at the amount of analysts they've got in their teams and this, that, and you know, Khem's laptop, the MacBook, even though it's malfunctioning these days, was previously like a real solid MacBook, right? And I think that the issue that he's going to have to deal with is that we just don't have that much room in the league now for people to be spunking the ball away constantly, especially if you are a like possession-heavy team. So I think you're seeing a lot of the same Pep, you know, the things that get levied at Pep all the time about killing creative players. Unless you're KDB, you're going to be able to play like that in our team. And that's just the way it is. So I kind of get your point that like you do need to put blame on Arteta in terms of him not being as creative. Other one, if we go and win the league, I don't give a shit anyway. So I think that's what it's going to come down to. At the end of the season, if we don't win the league, if people are unhappy, they're probably going to pull this back up and say, oh, look at how you stifled Eze. You should have built the team around him, or you should have done this, you should have done that. And it's just going to be a retrospective, looking back on it type of thing that we're going to look at whether we are based off of whether we're successful or not, unfortunately.
I think you're set. Just before we go move on, I think your NBA point was such a good one. I think the night came to mind. I think Eze is comparative to like Kevin Love going to the Cavs. Absolute baller for Timberwolves. Completely amazing. Looked amazing. Went to the Cavs, completely changed his role, but he played the system perfectly. And that is exactly why. And that's what, obviously we don't have maybe I guess Saka's like our LeBron basically. But Eze comes into Arsenal and now he's had to change his role. He's not going to be doing what he did at Palace and what Love did at Timberwolves. But as long as they come in, fit the system, and are effective when they need to and come up in the big moments, then exactly. If we win the Prem, no one's going to say anything about his stifling creativity. All we're going to know is that we signed Eze and we won the Premiership. So that's what it comes down.
Unfortunately, it's probably going to come down to, is he a moment player? Right, we kind of saw it in the game against Crystal Palace. He gets the goal that wins us the game, right? And that's really what it's going to come down to, is like when we're looking for somebody like a star boy to come out and just help us win a game or play well, that's probably what we're going to end up judging him on at the end of the season, which is, again, it's really harsh, I understand, but like that's probably how we're going to judge him. Is like, when I want to break the team down, could he? And I'm hoping that he will have those big moments. He's had, I'd argue, one already in terms of the Crystal Palace game, in terms of the game. Let's see if he can do more. Like if he can help us against these low block teams that we're gonna have to break down with some creativity. But unfortunately, that is when you move into that upper echelon, that is, you start being graded on a different scale, right? You're not being graded on whether you like do well for your team anymore. It's going to be like, are you contributing to them winning the league or winning matches that help them win the league? And so, I think you saw in the England game what he can do. So Leeson, hold that. Stop talking about Foden's fucking bobbly ass pass. No one gives a shit. Don't ask Eze in the press conference about Foden's pass. Man's looking at you like you're absolutely mental. None of that. That's what Eze can do. Put some respect on him and trying to like Foden PR, man. He's crap. As you can see from my name, Eze over Foden all day long. All right. All right, it's spent a long time. We've probably got, I'm going to say 20 minutes left to try and wrap this up. We're going to go through the Man United Spurs game. Everyone be as disparaging as you need to be, but do it quickly. Crap game to watch. Honestly, horrible game to watch. Two teams that were just set up to just, honestly, it should be a punishment. It should be something that they do in Guantanamo Bay, make them watch that game just on repeat for 48 hours or something, because it was awful. But it was funny at the same time. So obviously Spurs go up. Looks like Man United are not able to do much. They managed to come back. Charlison then puts the dagger in, takes his shirt off. He's got a weird, unlucky streak. He scores last-minute goals, takes his shirt off, and then they always let a goal in. And that is exactly what happened with Matthijs de Ligt. And it's up 2-2. I mean, I'm going to go to you, Khem, first, because obviously I'm sure that was a bit of a hate watch for you, because you're currently placed below Man United in the league, and I'm sure you're not winning it. How did you find that Man United performance? Like, be as disparaging as you need to be, do it quickly.
I think it was my correct score, so I was able to climb up the prediction league. I think only you and A are above me. I think I'm looking down on Baddie Hunter down there, so that's all good. And then we've got, I just want Ant to hear this as well, because just to follow on from your last point, talking about the margins in the Prem, Wayne Rooney did admit to going out drinking all the time excessively, to the point where somehow he survived and lived to tell the tale. So that shows that he was able to go out and score 200 plus goals while intoxicated. So yeah, the quality, maybe there's a few more asterisks to dish out. Just want you to hear that bit loud and proud, big bro. But with Man United and Spurs, it's kind of what you'd expect from two teams that are just inconsistent. And he even said it, Spurs always have something for them. I think he even predicted a draw as well. Nash, even though he said United would win, even called for something horrible to happen to Man United. So they know it was coming anyway. And Richarlison is a fool. He did the same thing against us, and then Jota scored in the last minute against Spurs. I think it's when Klopp pulled his hamstring, celebrating in front of the refs, and that's probably why now disallow all our goals moving on from then. So like they're both average teams. Probably both of them are above us. So that says it all really. It's just a mess down here. Yeah, they'll be up and down, but as long as Amram stays in the job, that's all we want, isn't it, guys? So, you know, that could be a good point for us.
I mean, that is a fair point. He's coming off the back of some decent-ish results, comparatively speaking, to his ones before that. But I'm gonna go to you, Razor, next, right? Like, putting yourselves in the shoes of both of these fan bases, like, who should be happier coming out of this game?
Can they both be equally unhappy? Yeah, fuck that. It's Spurs and United. I'm glad that they're both equally. They should both be equally unhappy, and that in turn makes me happy. That game was one of those after parties that footballers invite. Khem, baddies too, and then take away their phone from them. Like there was just a whole lot of ass, just a whole lot of cheeks clapping about. That's what Tottenham versus United was. Awful fixture to watch. Very funny, entertaining, but like if which set of those fans should be happier? Neither of them. They should both be a bit embarrassed. If I was a Spurs fan, yeah, the whole thing with taking off your shirt and getting a booking for a winner that is not a winner, that should be a once in a career thing. That should be a once in a career thing. You see Richarlison, yeah? Fam. Bro, yeah. If I was a Spurs fan, I would be livid, yeah, for starters. Not being able to defend the lead, not being like fighting your way back into the game. And again, like you're supposed to shut out shop. Disgraceful behavior. And then United, they just don't, like they can't look good for more than 12 consecutive minutes at a time. I don't know what it is. Like they look like they've got it and then they fling it out the window. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. And they go through that on a rotation every 45-minute period. I don't know how they're doing it, but yeah, I think when those teams play, when two teams that you don't like play, option one, that's nice, is what happened in Khem's friend's game against City, where they just get like spread and slapped. Pause. But option two is what we saw in Spurs versus United, a complete comedy of errors where nobody really leaves feeling like a winner. And that, again, made my soul feel warm, like how cats look when they sleep in a patch of sunlight.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a fair point. I mean, Spurs has been god awful for a long time now. And that could have been the thing that, like, bring them back up again, right? Last minute winner, that might be the thing that gets the crowd going. I think generally speaking, the Spurs fans, I don't know why they have this entitlement to think that they should be playing football, considering how bad they've just generally been for forever, essentially. But they do have this kind of belief that they should be playing beautiful football, and obviously Frank always play into that very well. And I think they get on his back a lot. Like if you listen to the crowd in those games, they are getting really angry really quickly as if they deserve to be good. Which is strange behaviour coming from them, but yeah, it had the potential to turn their kind of home form around. They've just gone and again, set piece FC, Man United, go and score a last minute header, Matthijs de Ligt on a post, and it's really. I think if I'm a Spurs fan, I'd probably feel worse off than a Man United fan, right? Because at least Man United get the last minute like equaliser that like makes them feel like, okay, we salvaged a point when we could have nothing out of the game, right? So I think I'd probably say Spurs come out of it a little bit unhappy than Man United fans. But obviously Man United fans have probably got to look at it and think that was a winnable game and they didn't really play all that well. So I think, I mean, we did say this earlier, right? Like there are no easy games in the Premier League anymore. But I will say that like you've kind of seen the bottom of the league and the middle of the league get a lot closer to each other, right? So like nothing is an easy game anymore, but at the same time, I don't know if you have like those kind of middle games where it's like, all right, this is a game that I'm probably going to come out with a draw. Like, just I feel like the top three teams and maybe even the top two teams now have kind of started to come away from the pack a little bit, and so I think Spurs are probably in that kind of Champions League conversation, even though I look at them both and I think this is not good enough for Champions League. But what do you think on that point? Do you think Spurs and United are in the race for the Champions League for that 4th spot? How close do you think they are? How far away do you think they are from that top of the pack?
United definitely are. When you spend 200 million net spend, you have to at least battle for
I
top
knew
4.
you had to get that.
So they'll be in there. Hopefully they're in there until the end, and then they fall off right near the end, just to bring them misery, like to be in touching distance of it, enough to keep Amorim in for next season with his project, but not enough to actually get any desired results. But they're good enough to do it. Their attack is good enough to be in that sort of 3rd place to 8th place range, which is where a lot of the teams are at the moment. So with Spurs, I don't even know with that club. I don't understand Tottenham Hotspur as a concept or as an entity. I don't really get them. Are they just here to host concerts and NFL games and just make numbers? They got rid of Daniel Levy, who actually got them in this position. And is their new guy a former Arsenal? I don't actually know with what direction they're going in. I think that was, as much as we called Levy all sorts over the years, he was a very good businessman and got them in this point. So are they now moving from being a businessman and being profitable to trying to compete? I'll wait and see on it. So I'll just stick with United. I think they'll be in the race for it for sure. Obviously, injuries can change that for all teams, though.
Yeah. So, Lana, I know you've got to go in a minute. So, what do you want to say about this game? I mean, does it mean anything for you as an Arsenal fan? Do you care about it? Just to watch them both be unhappy? What are your feelings on this game?
As if Ant was here, he'd know what would be coming. Is that his sadness and demise brings me great joy watching United suffer. But I think there's two bad teams really. Tottenham, as you said, nothing. To see Richarlison go through that again brought joy to my soul a little bit. That was it's priceless seeing a man pull off his shirt to just see them concede again. Pause, actually. You just pause that real quickly there. And then United, obviously, I think United should feel good because they've been kind of got a little bit of run of form, I guess, which is a bit unfortunate. So I don't think if you're a United fan, you can't be too mad about it. But Tottenham just don't. Yeah, I think Tottenham just don't look good. But I think they're our next fixture. We've got North London derby with them soon, I guess. So that will be. Yeah. I guess that should be them up for it. But they played, obviously Chelsea beat them 2 weeks ago as well in a derby. So they're just not turning up really for big games. So fingers crossed more of the same. But God, that's loud. It was a bad game by 2 bad teams and 2 teams I absolutely hate. So it is, a draw might have been the fairest result. I don't think Champions League. I think they were batting for Champions League with somehow the likes of Liverpool. But maybe that's just the level of certain teams now. But I think they're definitely fighting for that 4th spot. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I don't have I think I'm surprised. I thought Tottenham would be a lot better because I think Thomas Frank's a really good manager. But for some reason, they just don't seem to have anything.
I think it's just made me realise just how bad their midfield and attack depth is in terms of players. I think it can sometimes look good, but in general, they're just not man for man a great team. No. I know that they've got a lot of injuries. They talk about Maddison, they talk about Solanke and all these guys. I think they would make them better, but the players that I'm seeing on the pitch in the midfield and the attack, not doing it for me, man. João Palhinha looks good. Really one-dimensional. Pape Sarr, he looks good, but again, he's a box crasher. They really don't have any creative, dictating player team really do anything with that midfield. And then when it comes to the attack, I mean, Kudus, how much can he carry them? Because really, he's the only one that's looked decent so far. Tell looks crap. Odegaard looks crap. Richarlison looks crap always. It's just it looked like a great team. So I think you've got to get Kulusevski, you've got to get Maddison, you've got to get Solanke back. Maybe they look a bit better, but the entitlement I see in that fan base is strange. They feel like they should be the best team. They feel like they should be going out and getting big names. Xavi Simons, oh my! Terrible. You're gonna have to change your name. You don't have to be called Xavi anymore. We're going to call you
Right.
Darren. Darren Simmons is your new name.
But I
Until
did have a
further
Tottenham. I did have a
Darren
Tottenham
Simon.
fan. Darren Simon.
Darren Simons. There you go.
I did have a Tottenham fan though told me that them losing Eze, he thinks completely ruined their season, and that brought me. I got a very good mate, he's a Tottenham fan. He said them not signing Eze completely destroyed them. He thinks the entire season would have been a lot different if they got Eze. So yeah, thank God we did that, because that is just two birds, one stone. Like it's just a great, it was just brilliant transfer market in the summer. But yeah, I don't know, they could be in a different team if they got Eze.
Yeah, you could probably argue that Eze fits better into their terms of continuing to be the main man in that team, right?
Yeah.
Madison's always injured, and so it is a big loss for them. But yeah, let it all work out, fellas. All right, then very quickly, so we'll go through the prediction league. So as has been said, there was a lot of changes in this, and I'm really starting to hate you and how jammy you get with your bloody correct.
Don't say lot of changes. Say Mr. Consistency, because there's when
okay.
you're at the
There's
top.
changes from 3 to 6. There's a lot of
Thank
changes.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
So we've got Io at the top, 42 points, 8 correct results. I think I did the math before, right? If we get rid of your top like if this was just 1 point just for a correct score, you'd be near the bottom. Like obviously not as low as, but you'd be near the bottom in terms of
He's last minute FC basically. Then he's like, I'll
how
start
many
this
of your points
fluky.
are coming from correct score lines is
What
mental.
do you mean?
That is such a talk sport graphic.
He's
That is
dressed like
crazy.
a dummy
Made.
as well.
Exactly.
If Arsenal had if goals from set pieces weren't allowed, Arsenal would be 8th in the league table type.
Okay, so if you get rid of his correct results, he'd be on 18 points. If you get
What's
Nash's,
the
he'd
point
also
of
be
the
on
game?
18
He'd be
points,
below
bro.
Nash.
What's the
Jammy
point?
fucker.
What's the point of the game? Is to get correct scores. I'm being penalized for getting the aim of the game is correct scores, and you're
Let us
trying
hate
to
it.
penalize me. That is hating.
Disgrace.
That is
I'm just
hating.
salty because
Let us-
I'm currently
let us
sat in
hate.
second. I'm currently sat in second with 39 points and 6
Be used to
correct
second.
results. Shut up, man. And then behind me, talking about being used to it, I think you might have to get used to being in this position or lower. You are currently third with 37 points, so 2 points off me, but also 5 points higher with 6 correct results. You've then got Reese with 36 points, and this is where it gets real sticky. You've got Reese with 36 points, correct results. You've got Ant with 36 points, but 5 correct results. And then you've got Ray, who I think has probably been the biggest loser this week in terms of positions, who's now 6th with 36 points and 4 correct results.
Not even bad.
And of course, you've got Nash just like bottom feeding at the bottom, just cleaning up the fish tank.
Nash isn't even active, so really Ray is last.
No, the it's like the goldfish. The food is at the top. All the good fish, like the food top, all the big fish are going after that, and then he's just at the bottom, like eating seaweed and shit like that. He's not even involved in this. He's a little tadpole at the bottom of the tank, with 24 points and two correct results so far. So
I have no idea
week.
what Khem is muttering and why he is muttering it. But all I know is that
All I know is you're last, bro.
you are literally 1 point ahead of me.
You're last, bro.
and that
Can't even
point
see you. Need a bigger phone to scroll down.
basically I had two fucking games where if one goal had gone in,
If
I
fishes
would
were
be
fishes and you're bottom of the ocean.
second. I would be second right now. So like, fine margins. I'm fine with this. As I said from earlier on in the season, I don't expect to do well in this prediction league, but I'm enjoying playing and I'm enjoying the competitiveness. Not like let none of this distract you from
Fucking
the fact.
smoke.
Let none of this distract you from the fact that Khem will do absolutely anything to deflect from how piss poor his team in red have been this season. Regardless,
We're talking
innit?
about prediction league. We're talking about you right now.
Yeah, I know,
mate.
but I'm taking a leaf out of your book and I'm not sticking to the subject.
You need to
I'm not
get it
sticking
together
to
with
the
your
subject.
predictions, man.
You are 1 point ahead of me.
Nash is not even active.
You are 1 point ahead of me.
Nash,
And
Nash,
when you
Nash,
go back,
Nash isn't
when
even
you go-
trying.
when you
You're
go
actually
back to
trying,
being-
and you're
when you
bottom of
go
the
back
list.
to being
You
fifth,
give your results on time
When
and
you go
everything,
back
and
to
look where
being
you
fifth,
are in the league, mate.
it's gonna be
We're
another
Christmas is
wonderful
around the
day,
corner,
broski.
and you're
It's gonna
bottom.
be another wonderful
Bloody
day,
hell,
broski.
mate.
I'm
Good
not
Lord.
bottom of the league.
Honestly,
Nash is there.
absolute. Get it together.
You're getting your shit
I
off
love the way that
now.
you just say he's bottom of the league as if Nash does not exist.
Nash
Nash
isn't trying.
out.
Nash isn't
Bro,
trying.
last week
Null and void Nash's
he was
season.
where I am, and he was going, yeah, like, all right, blah, 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 blah. We know Khem's thing, bro. We know what he's on. Like, he does everything to deflect from the situation at hand. It's same way with the Prem. It's a long league. We've got many game weeks to go.
You're doing the right thing.
Oh, I don't care about the prediction league. I'm happy to play it. I'm happy to play it.
I am happy to play it. Like, come on. And I know Nash is shit at every kind of... Nash is bottom of the prediction league and bottom of FPL.
No, I think I might be bottom of FPL because I got 4 Liverpool players in there dragging me down. I'm definitely last in there. I can't change my team either. I'm not even allowed to. I'm fucked.
I think they should put more restrictions.
You went all in on Liverpool players, and Liverpool is at least. So hold that. But anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there. We're just at the 2-hour mark. I know you don't have to go. Great episode as always. I'm looking forward to this international break being over, and the next time that hopefully that we talk, we can talk about a continued run of stinky form from Liverpool. God bless.
Talking about pork.